The cold blackness of space lit up like fireworks. Huge alien ships appeared above Earth's orbit without warning. No messages. No demands. Just silence, and then fire. The world panicked. In seconds, every major city lost power. Satellites fell. Communication went dark. The skies glowed red as firestorms burned across continents. Governments tried to fight back, but their weapons didn't work. Missiles turned midder. Tanks exploded from inside. Fighter jets spun and dropped like toys. Then came the image. Every screen, every device, every old television somehow flickered. Back on. And there she was. A girl. She stood inside a glass chamber on one of the alien ships. Her skin shimmered like moonlight. Her eyes were glowing silver. And though she said no words, her eyes moved. One glance was all it took. Soldiers stopped fighting. Pilots abandoned their missions. Leaders surrendered instantly. Across the world, chaos stopped, and everyone simply obeyed. The invasion wasn't won with weapons. It was won with a look. Her gaze hypnotized them. Every alien, every human, until one man stood unaffected. Commander Ray Mercer was part of Earth's last defense unit. His ship, the Eagle One, had escaped the first wave. He'd lost his crew, his family, his city. Now he floated in low orbit. The last human not under her control. She had looked directly into the camera. Everyone else froze, but not Ray. He felt something, but not hypnosis. He felt anger, fear, and curiosity. Replay the signal, he ordered the AI on board. Image played again, her eyes impossibly deep. Almost beautiful. But there was something wrong. I don't think she's doing this on purpose, Ray said to himself. I think she's trapped. The computer beeped. A signal was coming from her ship. A strange pulse pattern. Not a language, but a distress code. An old one. Not alien.human. Ray single quotes as heart raced. That's not just an alien girl. It's a hybrid. Suddenly, red lights flashed. 3 enemy ships were moving toward Eagle One. They had detected his presence. They were coming fast. He had one choice: run or go straight into their flagship. I need answers, Ray whispered. And she might be the key. With shaking hands, he locked coordinates. Straight into the lion's mouth. Inside the alien flagship, the girl stood alone in her chamber. Her name was Zia. She was not a soldier. Not a leader. She didn't know where she was born. She only remembered being trained, tested, and stared at for years. She had been told her gift was rare. A gift from her alien ancestors, but she didn't want it. Every time someone looked into her eyes, they changed. They stopped thinking. They obeyed. It scared her. Her alien captors forced her to broadcast her face during invasions. Entire planets had fallen without a fight. They called her the weapon of peace. But she never wanted to be a weapon. Then suddenly, a strange feeling hit her. Someone was watching the broadcast. And not obeying. She turned sharply. One soul. Among billions still free. As Eagle One dodged the enemy fire, Ray dove into the atmosphere of the alien ship's command center. The shields held for a few more seconds, just enough. The ship slammed through the hangar wall. Metal grinding, sparks flying. He stepped out with his helmet on, pulse rifle ready. But no guards came, just silence. The walls glowed with strange alien language. Doors opened without touch. It was like the ship wanted him to come inside. Ray pushed forward. Then he saw her. She was standing behind glass. Her silver eyes were wide. Her long white hair floated around her like soft clouds. She stared at him. Ray didn't fall. He didn't. Freeze, Zia gasped. You? You're not like the others, she whispered, barely believing it. Ray lifted his helmet. You're not either. Then the glass started cracking. Alarms blared. Something else had woken up, not her. Something worse. And now, both of them were in danger. Asterisk, the alarm grew louder. Red lights blinked across the corridor. Strange symbols lit up the walls. Something powerful was coming toward them. Commander Ray Mercer kept his rifle up, scanning. The shadows. The broken glass from the girl's chamber lay at his feet. She hadn't moved. She just stood there, staring at him like he was from another world. Zia, right? Ray said carefully. That's your name? She nodded slowly. Yes. But how do you know that? You're sending out distress pulses. Ancient human ones. Why? I didn't mean to, she said. My body, it's always sending signals. I can't stop it, but no one ever noticed before. I did, Ray said. And now they know I'm here too. From deep inside the ship, something growled. Zia's silver eyes flicked toward the dark tunnel ahead. We have to move. Now. She turned and ran barefoot through the glowing corridor. Ray followed, boots thudding against the strange metallic floor. As they passed through a curved doorway, a blast door slammed shut behind them. Ray panted. What was that thing waking up? Zia didn't look back. The Minekeeper. It watches me. Keeps me under control. But now that you broke in, it thinks I'm a threat, Ray finished grimly. They entered a large control room. Alien tech covered every wall. Floating screens showed different parts of Earth, New York, Beijing, Cairo, all peaceful, all controlled by Zia's gaze. Except now, one feed showed Eagle One, Ray's ship, parked inside the alien hangar. Dozens of alien guards rushing toward it. Ray growled. They're going to destroy my ship. We can't stop them, Zia said. They're programmed to protect me, but not from you, from anyone trying to free me. Ray lowered his rifle. So you are a prisoner? Yes, Zia said, her voice almost a whisper. They told me I was helping bring peace, that my power would stop war. But they lied. They created me. Half alien, half human. My eyes. They were made to control others. I can't turn it off. Then why doesn't it work on me? Ray asked. I don't know, she said, truly confused, but I can feel your mind. It's resisting. Ray's jaw tightened. Because I choose not to give in. That's what makes us human. Suddenly, the walls shimmered. A deep, pulsing voice filled the room. Zia, step away from the human. Ray aimed his rifle at the ceiling. Who said that? Zia looked around. It's the Minekeeper. He's watching us. A holographic figure appeared in the center of the room. It looked like a shadow made of stars, with no face, only eyes cold, glowing red. You have brought danger to the vessel, it said. He must be removed. Ray didn't wait. He fired. The shot went through the hologram, hitting the back wall. Useless. Zia stepped forward. Don't hurt him. He didn't break. Me out. I left on my own. Lies. Your emotions are unstable. Your human side is growing stronger. You are no longer effective. You must be reset. Ray turned to her. What does that mean? Zia's eyes filled with fear. They want to wipe my mind. Start over. Make me forget everything. Not happening. Ray said, I'm getting you out. She looked at him. Why? I'm dangerous. I'm not even fully human. You're not a weapon, Ray said. You're a person, and no one controls a person like that. For a second, her eyes shimmered. Not glowing, just wet with emotion. Something she hadn't felt in years. Then, we need to reach the core, she said. There's a control node. If we destroy it, the ship loses control over me. And over the Earth? Ray asked. She nodded. Yes, everyone will wake up, but there's one problem. Let me guess, Ray said. The Minekeeper is guarding it. A loud crashing sound echoed through the ship. Ray grabbed her hand. Then let's go give it something else to focus on. They ran again, this time faster. Zia's power flickered. Lights dimmed as she passed. Doors opened without a touch. She was still connected to the ship, but weakening. Then Ray asked, "What happens if the Mindkeeper reaches you first?" She looked straight ahead. "I disappear?" Ray squeezed her hand. "Not on my watch." But behind them, the darkness. Moved out something tall, mechanical, and crawling on razor legs was following. They had minutes left. Maybe less. The ship trembled beneath their feet. Commander Ray Mercer and Zia ran through the dim corridors, her hand tightly gripped in his. Alarms howled behind them like wild creatures. The Mindkeeper was awake and it was coming. Zia glanced back. "It's getting closer. I can feel it inside my mind." Ray didn't stop running. "Then we run faster." They darted into another chamber. This one looked like a museum of horrors. Rows of glass tubes lined the walls, filled with floating bodies. Some were alien, some were human, and some were, like her, hybrids, Zia whispered. "They tried to make more of me." Ray walked up to one of the tubes. A boy no older than 12 floated inside, eyes closed. Still breathing. Connected to wires. "They're alive," Ray said. "Yes, but frozen," she replied. "The experiments failed. I was the only one who survived and stayed sane." The lights flickered. The temperature dropped. Then clang, clang, clang. The sound of sharp metal legs scraping the floor came closer. Ray pointed toward a maintenance door. "We'll come back for them. We need to stop the Keeper first." Zia hesitated. One last look at the other hybrids, then she nodded. They slipped through the side passage. As they ran, Ray asked, "What happens if your eyes stop working? Will they ever fade?" Zia shook her head. "No, they're permanent. The glow, the power, it's inside my DNA. I can feel others around me. I can change their minds. But I hate it. I never wanted it." "You didn't ask for this," Ray said. "But now you have a choice." She looked up. "What choice?" "Two. Use your power, your way." Zia didn't answer. But her steps became stronger. The passage finally opened into a massive chamber. This was it. The core. A tall, glowing tower stretched from floor to ceiling. Floating rings circled the top, pulsing with light. The ship's entire brain, its memory, weapons, and control was inside. Ray took a deep breath. "We destroy that, and you're free." But before they could move, the walls cracked. Something stepped out of the darkness. The Mindkeeper. It was massive, twice the size of a human, covered in dark armor. Its limbs were sharp like blades, and its head was smooth with no mouth, only red glowing eyes. Ray aimed his weapon. "I'll buy you time. Go." Zia backed away. "You'll die," Ray grinned. "Probably. But I'd rather die free than live under someone's control." He opened fire. Bullets bounced off the Keeper's armor. It didn't flinch. Instead, it raised one long blade-like arm and slashed forward. Ray dodged left, rolled, and fired again. Zia ran to the core. Her fingers touched the surface. It responded to her touch, symbols lighting up beneath her hand. Her presence confused the system. She was part of it, yet not obeying. The system tried to block her out. She pushed harder. Behind her, Ray was losing ground. His rifle was nearly empty. A deep cut bled from his arm. The Keeper struck again, this time knocking him across the floor. "Ja!" He shouted. She turned. And for the first time, she chose to use her power. Her silver eyes flashed. The Keeper paused, not stopped, but hesitated. "I am not your tool," Zia said, her voice sharp. "I am not your weapon. I am not your slave." She looked deeper into its mind, searching, reaching. The Keeper twitched. Its systems overloaded. Ray got up, ran toward the machine, and jammed a shock grenade into its back. Boom. The blast knocked it off balance. Zia screamed and slammed her hand into the core's main panel. Her energy surged through it. The tower cracked. Sparks flew. The ship groaned. Sirens howled. One by one, the control screens showing Earth went black. People around the world blinked. Confused, free from her gaze, at last the Mindkeeper gave one final screech and collapsed. Zia fell to her knees, gasping. Ray rushed to her. "You did it." She looked at him, her eyes still glowing but softer now. "We did it." Ray helped her up. "Now we get out of here." But as they turned to run, the chamber lights died. All of them. Zia froze. The ship's dying. It's collapsing. "Then let's move," Ray said. But deep below the ship, another presence stirred. Something worse than the Mindkeeper. Something that had been waiting. For the moment the system failed, and it had just been released. The ship shook violently. Warning lights blinked red, then black. Pipes burst from the walls. Sparks flew like fireflies around them. Zia held on to Ray as the ground trembled beneath their feet. "The core is breaking down," she said, breathing hard. "The whole ship's going to fall apart." Ray glanced up. "That's not just a system collapse. Something else is coming." Far down the corridor, deep growls echoed through the dark. Slow, steady, unnatural. Ray raised his weapon. "Another machine?" Zia shook her head, her eyes wide. "No, not a machine. Something alive." They ran. The corridor was pitch black, lit only by the dim silver glow from Zia's eyes. As they moved through the narrow passage, a heavy pressure filled the air like something massive was waking up. Ray whispered, "What else are they hiding on this ship?" Zia hesitated. "They told me stories about a creature, a failed experiment, stronger than any weapon. It couldn't be controlled, not even by me. Why keep it alive? They couldn't destroy it. So they locked it away beneath the ship, sealed in stasis. It only wakes if the core breaks." Ray's jaw tightened, "And we just broke it." Behind them, metal twisted with a sharp crack. A door exploded inward. A long black arm, covered in armor and pulsing veins, dragged something out of the darkness. Ray pulled Zia into a side room. They crouched behind a stack of crates as the monster crawled by. It was massive, twice the size of the Mindkeeper. It had no face, only a smooth black head with glowing blue veins. 4 arms, razor claws. Its body dripped with dark fluid. It didn't walk, it slid like a shadow. Ray whispered, "What is that thing?" Zia didn't blink. They called it Subject 09. It was the first hybrid before me. They made it too strong. It didn't speak, didn't follow orders. It ate its creators. Ray kept still. How did they trap it? They tricked it. Built a chamber that responded only to my DNA. They told me I was saving everyone. I didn't know it was this thing. The monster paused. It sniffed the air. Ray held his breath. Zia's eyes widened. It can smell fear. Then it turned, slowly, toward their hiding spot. Ray grabbed her hand. "Run." They ran again, this time deeper into the ship. Zia led the way, her memory guiding them through emergency tunnels. Behind them, Subject 09 chased silently. No footsteps, only sharp scraping sounds, metal bending as it moved. Zia panted, "There's one place left, the escape chamber." The ship used to carry commanders there during battle evacuations. Is it still active? If the backup system held, yes. They reached a locked door. Ray slammed his hand on the panel. No power. Zia stepped forward. Her hand glowed slightly. The panel buzzed. The door opened slowly. Inside, a narrow chamber with a single pod. Big enough for one person. Ray cursed. Only one? Zia stared at the pod. It was meant for the commander. Everyone else was left behind. Ray stepped aside. Get in. Zia turned to him. No. Zia, you have to survive. You're the key. If that thing escapes Earth, I'm not leaving you here. Ray raised his voice. That's an order. She didn't move. The sound of ripping metal echoed behind them. The monster was tearing through the last hallway. Zia's hands trembled. I can't go alone. Not again. Ray looked at her, this strange, powerful girl who had never known freedom or love or peace. He made a choice. He stepped into the pod. Zia's eyes widened. What are you doing? He smiled. Trust me. He pulled her in after him. The pod was cramped. Barely enough space. But it sealed. Outside, Subject 09 roared. Inside. Zia triggered the launch. A loud hum. Then boom. The escape pod shot out from the ship. Fire and metal exploded behind them. The last thing they saw was the alien ship tearing itself apart, chunks of it falling from orbit like meteors. But Subject 09 had jumped too. And it wasn't dead. It was falling toward Earth. The escape pod screamed through Earth's atmosphere. Fire licked the edges of its shell as it tumbled through the sky. Inside, Zia clung to Ray's arm, her silver eyes wide with fear. We made it, she whispered. Ray kept his eyes on the readout. Not yet. Outside, the wreckage of the alien flagship burned behind them, breaking apart in the upper atmosphere. But a dark shape fell through the fire. Subject 09. It had jumped just before the explosion. Now it was crashing toward Earth like a meteor. Ray watched its trajectory. It's heading to a populated zone. Zia's voice shook. It'll destroy everything. We have to stop it. The pod jolted. Then dash crash. They slammed into a grassy field, tearing through trees and soil before coming to a brutal stop. Smoke hissed from the hatch. Ray kicked it open and pulled Zia out. They were in a remote forest somewhere near the outskirts of a small human city. The sun was setting. Birds scattered. Wind whispered through tall trees. Zia fell to her knees, breathing the fresh air. I never thought I'd feel this. Real sky, real Earth. Ray helped her stand. We don't have time to enjoy it. We have a monster to stop. Far in the distance, a loud boom shook the ground. A black object hit the earth hard. Trees snapped. Animals fled. It had landed. Subject 09 had arrived on Earth. Hours passed. The city was already panicking. People saw the fire in the sky. Emergency broadcasts warned of a possible impact. Military units moved toward the crash site. Ray and Zia approached the city edge carefully. Ray disguised Zia with a jacket and sunglasses. Her silver eyes still glowed faintly, even in the dark. We need to warn them, Ray said, before the army engages it. Zia shook her head. They'll lose. Their weapons won't stop it. Only I can. They slipped into a nearby military command tent just outside the city. An old general recognized Ray instantly. Mercer? You're alive? We thought you were dead. Ray saluted quickly. We don't have time. There's something worse than the alien fleet. Something that survived the crash. Zia stepped forward. It's called Subject 09. It's not here to conquer. It's here to consume. It won't stop until every mind on this planet is broken. The general hesitated. And who is she? Ray looked at her, then said firmly, she's the reason Earth is still standing. And the only one who can stop what's coming. In the forest, Subject 09 moved like a shadow. It had no language, no mercy. Only hunger. Its mind was broken long ago. Now it followed instinct, the need to consume fear, feed on thoughts, and tear apart anything that resisted. It reached the outer edge of the city. Lights blinded it. Sirens screamed. Soldiers stood in its path. Subject 09 didn't stop. It ripped a tank in half. It tore through walls. It didn't just kill, it infected. Those who looked into its faceless head dropped to their knees. Screaming in terror, people began to run. Some stayed and fired useless bullets, one by one. They fell. Zia stood on top of a building, watching the destruction from above. Ray was beside her. "You don't have to do this," he said quietly. She looked at him. "Yes, I do. This power, it's dangerous. I know, but it's mine now. I choose how to use it." Ray handed her a small beacon. "Once you're close enough, activate this. It'll trigger a pulse from our escape pod. It's the last piece of alien tech I saved. If you overload your energy through it, you might take O9 down." "Might?" she asked. Ray nodded. "Or it'll take you both out." Zia looked down at the destruction below. "I'm ready." She jumped. Subject 09 looked up just in time to see a silver streak falling toward it. Zia hit the ground like lightning. She stood tall, her eyes glowing brighter than ever. People around her blinked, freed from their trance. The creature stumbled, confused. Zia stared into its mind. She pushed, not to control, but to confront it. "You are not the end," she said. "You are not my shadow. I am not your weapon." The monster roared, swinging its arms. Zia dodged and activated the beacon. A pulse of light spread through the city. Then, silenced. The creature froze and screamed. Its body cracked, veins burned. Zia stood still. The ground shook. And everything exploded in a burst of light. Asterisk smoke covered the city like a blanket. The sky had turned orange from the fires. Emergency sirens howled in the distance. Buildings were damaged, some crumbled, but the people were still alive. Ray Mercer coughed as he pushed through the rubble. "Zia!" he shouted. "Zia, where are you?" Dust filled the air. Lights flickered. The street where Subject 09 had stood was now a crater. Nothing moved at first. Then he saw a hand, small, pale, covered in ash. He rushed over and dropped to his knees. Zia was lying at the center of the blast zone, barely breathing. Her skin was burned in places, her clothes torn, her hair tangled with debris. But her silver eyes fluttered open. Ray touched her cheek. "Zia, you did it. You stopped it." Her lips trembled. "It's gone?" Ray nodded. "You destroyed it. You saved everyone." Tears fell from her eyes. "I almost lost myself in its mind. It was darkness, endless. But I held on. I remembered you." Ray held her close. "You're not alone anymore." Behind them, the military arrived. Helicopters hovered. Medics rushed in. Cameras flashed as soldiers pointed to the crater in shock. The monster was gone, and at the center of it all was the girl who once brought planets to their knees. Hours passed. Zia lay in a medical bay, hooked to machines. Ray sat beside her, refusing to leave. Doctors couldn't explain how she was still alive. Her body was strange, half human, half something else. But she healed faster than anyone expected. The city outside celebrated. The alien fleet was gone. Earth was safe. And slowly, people began waking up free from her hypnotic hold. Zia had released the entire planet with one choice, but it came at a price. Her powers were fading. One morning, Ray brought her a mirror. She looked into it carefully. Her silver glow was gone. Her eyes were now soft gray. "Is this real?" she asked, touching her face. Ray nodded. "You burned your power to destroy Subject 09. Whatever gave you that control, it's gone now." Zia looked at herself quietly. "Then I'm finally just me," Ray smiled. "That's a good thing." But deep down she felt something missing. For so long she was treated like a weapon. A thing, feared, obeyed, hated. Now she was just a girl, and she didn't know who that girl really was. Later that week, The United Nations invited Ray and Zia to a special meeting. World leaders gathered in one room for the first time in years. General Secretary stood before the crowd. "We welcome the man who helped defend Earth, and the girl who was once feared, now known as our savior." Zia stepped forward nervously. Cameras clicked. People stared. One leader whispered, "She's the one?" Another said, "I thought she'd look more alien." Zia looked at them. Allen spoke in a soft but steady voice. "I didn't choose to be what I was. I didn't want to control anyone. But I do choose who I become now." The room fell silent. "I may have alien blood, but I feel pain. I dream, I hope, like all of you." A long pause, then someone clapped. More followed. Soon, the entire room stood and applauded. For the first time in her life, Zia felt something stronger than fear or control. She felt acceptance. After the meeting, Ray and Zia walked through a quiet park. Birds flew overhead. Children laughed in the distance. Zia stopped to watch a group of kids playing with a drone. "They're free now," she said. "And they don't even know it." "That's the best kind of freedom," Ray said. "When people don't feel the chains anymore." She looked at him. "What will happen to me now?" Ray shrugged. "That's your choice. You're not part of a machine anymore. No more cages, no more control." Zia nodded slowly. "Then maybe I'll learn how to live." Ray looked at her with a soft smile. "And I'll help you." But just as they sat on a bench under the trees, a message came through Ray's wrist device. Strange energy signature. Not from Earth. Not from the fleet. Something new. Ray stood up slowly. Zia looked at him. "Is it starting again?" Ray stared into the sky. "I don't know, but whatever comes next, we'll face it together." Zia smiled. "Then I'm ready." High above Earth, something stirred in the blackness of space. A silent shape moved through the void, smooth, silver, and fast. It wasn't part of the old alien fleet. It wasn't from the creators of Subject 09. It was something else. Something watching. And now, it was coming closer. On Earth, Zia stood beside Ray on a small mountain overlooking the city. Weeks had passed since the battle. Life had returned to normal. Power was restored. People went back to work. The world had healed faster than anyone expected. But Ray never fully relaxed. He kept scanning the skies, watching for signs, studying energy signals. And now the warning had come. A ship. Not large, but advanced, unknown technology. Not hostile yet. Zia looked at him. "What do you think it is?" Ray tightened his grip on the binoculars. "A scout. They're testing us." She nodded. "They felt the power when Subject 09 died." "Or," Ray added, "they sensed you." Zia turned away, her eyes quiet. "I don't have that power anymore." Ray glanced at her. "No, but they don't know that." Suddenly, the mountain rumbled beneath them. A beam of light shot down from the sky. Zia's eyes widened. "They're landing." The ship hovered a few meters above the ground. It didn't open fire. No weapons were visible. Just a soft hum, like a whisper in the wind. Then, from beneath it, a platform lowered. Two beings stepped out. Tall, thin, cloaked in dark robes. Their skin shimmered like glass and their eyes were pure white, no pupils, no irises. Ray stood in front of Zia. "We're not your enemies." One of the beings spoke not with a mouth, but directly into their minds. "She is the weapon, the failed project. We've come to collect her." Zia stepped forward. "I'm not a project. I'm not yours. You were created to serve. You broke protocol. You released Forbidden's power. That cannot be allowed." Ray raised his weapon. "Then you're going to have a problem." The second being looked at Ray curiously. "You are the human who resisted her gaze. Interesting. You are flawed, but strong." Zia's voice shook, but she stood firm. "You won't take me." Not now, not ever. Then Earth will be silenced, the beings replied in unison. The sky darkened above them. More ships uncloaked, 10, 20, maybe more. Ray whispered, "It's a quiet invasion." Zia looked at him. "I can stop them." Ray turned to her. "No, you burned your power. You'll die." She shook her head. "There's something left. Not the hypnotic gaze, but something else. Something human." She stepped forward and closed her eyes. A soft glow began to rise around her body, not silver, but golden. Gentle, warm, steady. The alien beings froze. "What is this?" they asked. Ray's eyes widened. "It's not control. It's resistance." Sia opened her eyes. "You wanted fear. But Earth is not afraid of you anymore." The golden light spread across the sky like a wave. People around the planet felt it. Hope, unity, courage. Zia was sending it across the world, not forcing minds to obey, but lifting their hearts to choose. And when the alien ship saw Earth's people standing strong together, unafraid, they paused. Then, one by one, they retreated. The sky cleared. The ships vanished. Silence returned. Later that night, Ray and Zia sat beside a small fire on the mountain. Stars glittered above them. The planet was safe again. Ray looked over. "You did it. Without power, without control. Just choice." Zia nodded. "That's what makes us human, right?" Ray smiled. "Exactly." She leaned against his shoulder. "Do you think they'll come back?" "Maybe," he said. "But next time, they'll know we don't bow. We don't break, and we don't run." Zia closed her eyes. "Then we'll be ready." The fire crackled. The wind blew gently through the trees. And for the first time since the war began, Zia felt peace. Not because she was powerful, but because she was free. And so was Earth.